Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to have another look at the Sunflower Parade collection from Sentimentally Yours, and primarily we're going to be looking at one of the new exclusive sets which are exclusive just to Honeypot Crafts and my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and this is the Fabulous Blooms. And I thought, because these are individual flowers, I thought we'd actually create a wreath with them. And we're going to be using a paper from the Tropical Paradise Creative Pack. And we're using this one here, which is the kind of reds into orange and into yellows, because obviously it kind of fits in with the colours that you traditionally think of sunflowers. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've already cut out a debossed double stitched square from the paper, and you can see you've got that lovely detail around the edge, and I've chosen the more yellowy side, so the lighter side. And on here I've got a couple of masks that I've cut out from a piece of woodware masket sheet. And I've used the sunflower, this one here, which is the one in the middle below the word sunflower. That's the one I've used. And I've just put them on here so I can kind of think about my positioning of my stamp. Because as you work, let's get rid of some of these magnets, don't need all these magnets. As you work around your wreath, you've got to think that you can't really put that one right into the corner, because as you work around, that next one's going to be off of the page. So I'm thinking, because I've used this one, it's quite a small one, I'm thinking that we're going to have one pointed into the corner there, perhaps, and then the next one, the one in the middle, when we get to the middle, has got to be about 2.5 centimetres, because this is just shy of 5 inches wide, or 2.5 inches there. So I can't actually use my Mama Mate's Rotate Mate, because it is actually slightly under 5 inches, and you need to be 5 inches or 4 inches, which is fine. Obviously we could use that, but I'm going to do masking anyway, so it's not as important. So I think what we'll do is we'll do that central one first rather than the corners. Let's take this stamp, pop my magnet right into the corner there. So it's going, let's just need to get this first position right. Ah, this is my magnetic ruler. Yeah, it's about right. It's not a magnetic ruler, it's got a steel edge to it. Right, so it doesn't really matter which way up it is, we just want to make sure that that centre is about there, like so. Get off me. And then we'll pick that up and obviously get rid of the mask. I won't be using the mask initially. And I've chosen to use Pinecone Versifying Clair. There's actually 3 browns in Versifying Clair. Let me just grab them. There's Fallen Leaves, Pinecone and Acorn. And in darkness, the Fallen Leaves is the darkest. It is almost black. It's a very, very dark brown. Then we've got Pinecone, and then the lightest brown is Acorn. So obviously any of those are going to work with your sunflowers, but just bear in mind that the Fallen Leaves is almost black. And you'll find all of them on my website, and also all of the reinkers as well. So obviously with this paper, which is actually, let me remind myself, it's 250 GSM. So it's actually like a lightweight card. Or actually not, it's not such a lightweight card actually. Lightweight card's about 200 GSM. So it's really good quality. So you can stamp with it, die cut it with it, you can shape it, you can do all sorts of things with it. But you know, you can absolutely use that Creative Pack outside of the all the embellishments and toppers that you've got in the kit. So there's our first sunflower. Ooh, we go. Really, really pretty. So obviously all we do, because we're in our stamping platform, is we just turn it, reposition the magnets, and we re-ink again. Obviously this is the bit where you fast forward if you want to. I'm just going to keep the camera rolling. I do find this sort of stamping extremely relaxing because you're pattern building effectively. Obviously you can choose not to have all sunflowers. You could have other flowers in between. I mean, Fairy Hooks do a wide variety of flowers, as does, I'm sure there's other flowers in Mr. M's. I can't actually think of any at the moment, but I'm sure there are that we can use. Maybe from the past. Really is such a stunning stamp, and it works so nicely on this paper. I mean, to be honest, I will colour it in, but to be honest, we don't have to, because you've got the tones there. You could just decide to just colour the centre in if you wanted to. But sometimes colouring in does give it a bit of a pop. Just love this collection. Don't think stock's going to last very long, to be honest. There are 8 stamp sets within this collection. We also have a sentiment set, which is also exclusive to Honeypot Crafts and myself as well, which is a very fine script, which I'll show you in a little while because we use that for a sentiment in the centre. This is going to be quite a flat card. In fact, we're not going to use foam tape, so this is ideal for you to do to post. Okay, so there's our 4 stamps. Don't need to move this. Now we want to get our one that's going to go in the corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel off the backing acetate, and we're going to just pop it on here like so. And dirty fingers will be obviously part of the course. And we're going to grab this stamp and we're going to pop it between. Do you know, I don't think we need the masks all the way. I think I want it further up. What do I want to? Oh, decisions. I think I want it fuller, because if I just put it there like that, let me have a look. It's going to look nice, but it's not going to look a fuller a wreath as I want. This is what happens. It evolves and changes. So if we put that one, excuse me, on there like that, and then we can do another one. Let's see, let's overlap it quite a bit. So we've got half and half. Right. So obviously the ones that are in the foreground are going to be the ones we've stamped already. Let's pick that up for now. And obviously, because we know we're going to overlap, this can go in the corner now. We want to take one of our masks. This is Woodware Masket Sheet. Obviously, this is a new mask and it's being temperamental and not letting me get into it. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, come here. There we go. I've got it now. And I do keep the backing because I store it on the backing. Now, if you look at your flower, you've got 2 little tiny leaves there, or petals there, and you can use that as a starting point. And that's going to be, I've cut them slightly inside the line, so that the idea is when you actually put them on, when you put them on, you're going to be slightly inside the line. So when you actually stamp, it means that you're not going to get like a fall off. It's going to just be nice and continuous. That's the theory anyway. And I'm going to put one on here as well, so when we turn it, we don't have to faff around. So I only have to faff around twice in theory. Oh. It's not as hard as it looks. There we go. Come here. You don't want to rip it, obviously. That's my second one. Look for those two petals together, which are just down there. That's not on quite right. There is a little bit of faffing involved. Okay. Let's hope that's okay. Right. This one's going to go in the corner. Well, not in the corner, but overlapping. Now, we don't want to fetch this one off. We just want to do 4 of these all the way around before we move it. We don't want to get excited and fetch it off and then put the other one on there, because then they won't all be in the same place. So I'm going to turn it. So, like I say, I find this very, very therapeutic. Turn that off. It's a lovely colour, pine cone. Now remember, don't get excited and just go and do the next one, because we've got to now move those 2 masks onto the other 2 sunflowers. So we'll fetch this one off. You can see, let me hold that up so you can see where we've got them. It's really cool, isn't it? And when you do that reveal, it's really, it just makes all the difference. And then we're going to put this on here. Like so. And then take this one off. So the pokey tools are very handy for this. And then, where's my little bits? There they are. Nope. That's not quite on. Bear with. I want to mess it up. Just obviously, when you if you stand up over the top of them, then you can see better. But obviously, I can't really do that. There we go. Okay. So we're going to move that 90 degrees. That has stamped a little bit light there. I didn't notice that, but too late. Move my mask now. It's not that noticeable. I'll see it now. Now I've pointed it out, I'll see it. That's a cool one. And then once more. Normally I don't actually record this sort of video because it is quite time consuming and it's not the most exciting thing to watch in the world. But I did do one which was quite involved and used 3 or 4 different flowers from Fairy Hugs, and people were saying, is there a video to go with that? Well, no, there isn't, because it took forever to do. So I was doing different flowers, and now obviously I wish I had done, because I got quite a few people asking me, so I thought I would do one and show you the process, because it's, some people think it's quite scary to do masking, but it isn't actually. It is quite therapeutic. Now we need one in between here, so we don't have to move too many masks. Let's mask this one, and then we'll actually stamp in between there, so we don't have to move that one just now. Okay, so let's move this one. Be careful how you take it off. With some papers you find that the ink stays wet for quite a long time. I mean, this is actually really good to stamp on and use your masks on, actually, because sometimes the masks, because the ink is wet underneath, the masks want to lift off, which is very frustrating. Also very frustrating is that that little bit is actually underneath there. So I can't use that to line up, but I can use that one there to line up. So yes, this ink is actually, even though it's VersaFine Clear, is actually drying quite nicely under there, and the mask isn't peeling off, which like I say, it does quite often do. So let's just pop this acetate on top again. Remember, because I'm doing this because there's actually ink on the stamp, and if I get it in the wrong position, I might make a mucky mess. I don't want to do that. Right, so let's pop that in the centre there, like so. So it's sort of equidistant between the two centres. Then we pick that up, get rid of that. We can pop our magnet back in the corner, because the stamp isn't going that far. Make sure it's all butted up, and then we can do the stamp in between. Now obviously, because we're doing a stamp in between, we've got to move 2 masks at a time. So this is even more boring to watch, but I'm really sorry, but you know, it is worth it. It's worth knowing how to mask. And sometimes, depending on how well you've cut out, you'll need to give more pressure just where those masks are. So now we need to lift this. I will show you in a sec. Let's put this one down on this side. Now I've got my 2 little bits there. There they are. Just need to make sure that this side is well lined up, because this is the bit that the stamp's going to go on, and then we can lift this one. Carefully. I'll show you where we stamped now. Oh. See, there's no overlapping. Obviously you can overlap the petals if you want to, if you don't want to do any masking, but this is just neater, and it's a very, like I say, it's a very relaxing technique. Now where's my little bits, which you can't see? There they are, but we can not. I think that's that one. Yes. I'm so pleased that these aren't symmetrical, because it would be a nightmare to line up if they were symmetrical. There we go. So now we're going to move this. See, I'll make sure I'm in view. It'd be a bit annoying if I did all this and it wasn't in view. Get all carried away. The worst thing is if you forget to move your mask on the last one. Very annoying. Let's switch that off. And keep your masks, because you can use them for quite a few different times. But it is actually a very easy image to cut out, actually. I'm trying to think. there. Just over a little bit more. So I've only cut it just inside the line. As I said, if you cut inside the line, then when you come to stamp, then you get a nice continuous image. If you cut on the line or just outside the line, then you're going to get a gap between your images, which you don't want. Try and line that up. Yep. All right. And then turn it. So we've got this one and then the next one, and then our wreath will be all stamped. Nice firm press where the mask is. And this final peel. And then this one down here. Like so. And take the other one off. Okay, and then this one goes about here. Have I got that right? No. That's there. That's that one. Okay, that's the last one. So this is the last stamp and our wreath is complete. So obviously this is, because this is just shy of 5 by 5 inches, then this is going to fit nicely on a 6 by 6 card. And obviously in the centre you can pop whatever sentiment you want to have. I was debating as to whether to die cut and actually pop the sentiment on a die cut in the centre, but I think I'm just going to stamp on the paper. We'll see. If we can't see it, then I'll go away and I'll do a die cut and we'll pop it on. But I think I'm just going to keep it fairly flat. Okay, so we'll peel these off and pop these back on there as near as we can on the carrier sheet. And then I tend to store my masks in the packaging with my stamps. I don't stick these directly to the packaging because they lose some of the sticky on the packaging, which is why I put them back onto the kind of carrier sheet that they came on, or as near as I can get it. So there we are. There's our stamping done. And our wreath. It's not 100% symmetrical, but I think that's the paper playing with havoc with you. But it's very neat. You can't see where any joins are because we've cut inside the line on the mask. So now we're going to just add our sentiment to the centre, so we've got all our stamping done. So once again, this sunflower is from the exclusive set from the Sunflower Parade, which is only available on the Honeypot Crafts website and on my website while stocks last. So you have 6 blooms. Some are kind of slightly pointing one way, some are straight on, some are large, some are small. And this is your fabulous blooms. So for the sentiment, we're going to use sentiment from the other exclusive set, which is only available to Sentimentally Yours and or to Honeypot Crafts and my website. And this is your script sentiments, and we've got a selection which are long sentiments. Now they're going to fit in with your debossed stitch flags and banners. Some of the bigger ones obviously you'll be wanting to put onto other die cuts. I think we're going to have a wonderful day, because I think that that's going to fit really nicely in the centre there, and it kind of it's uplifting, just like sunflowers. I think sunflowers are a happy smiley flower. They are sunshine in a flower, aren't they? So have a wonderful day. And this is a very delicate script, so I'm hoping that it's going to show up just stamped on here like so. Check that that's straight. To be honest, it doesn't actually matter whether it's straight or not, because it's a kind of that sort of a script. It's very, very delicate, very delicate. So let's give this a pine cone stamping as well. Obviously I haven't used this stamp before because it was nice and clean. So we might need to just stamp it a second time so it's nice and dark. They are photopolymer stamps, as always. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I am just going to go again because I want it darker. I mean, I could have gone up to and used fallen leaves, but I do actually just want to stick with pine cone. Here we go, that's a bit darker, but still lovely and delicate. And I've hit the camera again, as always. Okay, so let's fetch this out of here. Now I am going to just add a little bit of colour to it. And I think what we're going to do is use a couple of pens from my watercolour pen and brush pens. And these won't come out the same colour. Card that I can scribble on. So that's nice bright yellow. And then we've got an orange as well. So I think those are going to work nicely together. So I'm just going to do one and then I'll continue to do them afterwards. I'm just going to follow the lines of the shading that Phil's put in. There's a little bit down there. I'm not sure how this paper's going to blend, if at all, but we'll find out, won't we? I'm not the world's best colourist. Don't really seem to have the time or the inclination. Now we're going to take the yellow. I'm going to just add the yellow over the top. It's not blending brilliantly, but there again, it's not watercolour card, so I wouldn't actually expect it to, but it is actually quite nice. I'll show you in detail in a minute. Of course, we've got some of the colour of the paper coming from underneath. This isn't a quick job, but you can see how lovely it looks uncoloured. So you don't have to colour it in if you don't want to. I'm just going to do this one and then I'll show you what this one looks like, and then I'll pause the video, go away and do it, and then show you what it looks like completely. I think I forgot to do that one, unless it's dried already. It is quite absorbent paper actually, as I found out with the VersaFine Claire. Of course I say paper, it's not really paper, it's card. I think we've gone all the way around. And then for the centre, let's go for a... So those are from set number 1. And this, then we've got a couple of browns here. Don't know if I need both browns. These are from set 2. add a bit of dark brown around here. And a bit of the lighter brown in the centre. Okay, so there's one that's coloured in. So I'm going to continue and colour them in, and then I'll show you, we'll just come back and we'll finish the card. Right, so I'm back and we're all coloured in. So just using 2 pens from set 1, which is the orange and the yellow from the watercolour blending brush pens, and 2 colours from set 2, which are the 2 browns for the centres. So the ink is still drying, so it will lighten a little bit, but I think that looks rather lovely. So all I've done is I've cut out another debossed double stitched square from Chocolate Bliss. So you can see you've got that lovely stitch detail. You can't quite see it on the Chocolate Bliss, but it is there as well. And just stuck it together, and it's completely flat, so we can post that really easily. So I'm going to just add a pearl in each corner, and I've got the warm cocoa. Obviously, if you want to post it, you might choose not to actually add a pearl, but we're just going to add one of the little 5mm pearls. Now you can only get these pearls from Honeypot Crafts, not from myself. No retailers have the pearls except for Honeypot. We're just going to use our pickup tool just to grab some of the 5mm pearls. So we put one in each corner just to finish it off. Obviously, if this means that it doesn't go through in a normal letter envelope, then you might want to leave these off, but I think that just finishes it off nicely, one in each corner. So remember, I'll go through what we've used. So I've used a paper from the Tropical Paradise Creative Pack. Use this one here, and I used the debossed double stitch squares to cut out a square, and it's just shy of 5 inches. And then 2 new exclusive sets from the Sunflower Parade collection. These are only available from Honeypot Crafts and from my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk. So we've used Fabulous Blooms, and we've used the script sentiments. So you can't get those from the TV, you can't get them anywhere else other than from my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and you can also get them from Honeypot Crafts as well. So we've also used the Pinecone Versifying Clair, and as I said, we've used the watercolour blending brush pens set 1 and set 2. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. It'd be fabulous if you would like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and also you will also find me on Facebook at Julia Watts Crafts, and do check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, as there's well over 60 with Sentimentally Yours, plus others from other brands as well. And just thank you for watching.